What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for another match preview. We have got West Brom away just before the international break in a game where we just can't take lightly, can we, Sim?
No, it's a very imperative game that we take 3 points, especially given the fact we've already dropped points to Newcastle and to West Ham this season. We can't afford to drop too many sloppy points against teams in the lower end of the table, and considering the hard run we've got coming up, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal coming up after the international break, we need to take these opportunities when they come, and also with City playing Liverpool later on that day and Everton playing Man United as well on Saturday, this could actually be a game where we go top of the table, so it's crucial psychologically.
We know what usually happens in those games.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is the chance for Tottenham to show we're a different kind of Tottenham this season, go to West Brom and get the result.
So West Brom, they sit 18th in the league at the moment. Do you think this is a false position for them?
No, because I don't think their squad is that strong. I think they've got some quality, but I really believe they're going to be in a dogfight this season. I think Bilic has struggled in the opening exchanges of the season. I know he had a poor campaign his last 2 seasons at West Ham. He really struggled after a strong first campaign. And they haven't won any of the first 7 games this season. And I know you could probably say that Sheffield United and Burnley are in a similar position, but they have the know-how and the experience to kind of turn that around. Whereas West Brom, they have come up this season, and they're a very different West Brom to what we saw when they went down a couple of years ago. They're not as defensively solid. They like to play a bit more football than they previously did. And at the moment, they're struggling badly defensively, and they have only scored 1 goal in their last 4 games, so they haven't even been looking creative either.
Yeah, they've scored 4 in their last 5 games.
4 in their last 5, because that's 3 against Chelsea included. That's the 3 against Chelsea, so 3 in 1 game.
Yeah, so basically, we got Jake Livermore, their captain this season. He's going to be out there to prove a point, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm sure he will, and he'll probably want a really strong performance against his former team, and he might put in a good display. But whether that'll be enough, it's very unlikely, because we have so much quality now in the top end of the pitch. Their only way to kind of get results is maybe to try and frustrate us, sit back and sit deep, and hope maybe Pereira and Robinson can hit us on the counter attack. But it's not going to be easy for them at all. But you look. The fact of the matter is they haven't won a game. They're going to be scrapping for points this season. So they could always with these kind of games, teams can adjust the way they play until they find a system that works. And always you have the risk that they could find that system in this game. And that's always a worry.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they haven't won a game in their last 5. They've drawn 3 and lost 2. All their goals seem to be coming through Robertson and Pereira this season.
Robinson has got 2 goals this season, and they're both in 1 game.
Right.
Against Chelsea. They were both against Chelsea. Pereira got a great free kick against Everton, and he's got a couple of assists as well. But it doesn't look great for West Brom. And Diangana had a strong start scoring on his debut, and obviously West Ham are really annoyed with letting him go. But
seems as though it wasn't a bad decision at the end of the day, with the form West Ham are in as well.
Yeah, they're playing well, and Diangana hasn't really hit the ground running ever since he scored that goal. So I think this is a game that we have to take advantage of the fact that they're struggling. We have to put pressure on them. If we get an early goal, the heads will drop and all that kind of stuff. So we can't give them any encouragement.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. But having said that, let's look at the form, the head-to-heads. The last 5 games against West Brom, we actually have only won once. So it doesn't read for great viewing. I can't remember when our last win was at the Hawthorns, but I do know that our form there is terrible. I believe
in February 2015 was our last win at the Hawthorns. It was a 3-0 win. Eriksson scored a free kick, and Harry Kane got a couple that night. But we haven't had a great record at the Hawthorns. But as I said, this is a different West Brom. This isn't the West Brom where they're going to sit back, or whether even if they do sit back, that they're very disciplined and well organised and well drilled by a very defensive coach like Pulis and Hodgson. This is a very different West Brom with different skill sets and different strengths. and defending hasn't been one of their strengths this season so far.
But we said the similar thing about Brighton. Obviously, Brighton are a much better side than West Brom, but they like to come out and play their football. But they were there and they frustrated us big time. And when you look at Slaven Bilic, he's no mug. You know what I mean? He'll set up his team to try and frustrate us.
Brighton did frustrate us, but it brought the performance. What happened in the Brighton game was exactly what we thought was going to happen, because they dominated possession. They were actually the ones making more passes and more successful passes and having more of the ball than Tottenham. But Tottenham were the ones who looked more likely to score. They had more shots on target, and higher XG than Brighton. So that, although we were frustrated by how much control of the game we had, we weren't frustrated in terms of actually looking to win the game. So, in terms of West Brom, I expect them not to be as good on the ball as Brighton were, although they do like to play a bit more football. And I expect us to be more dominant, have more control over this game, and we really should win comfortably. But look, in the Premier League, you never know. They could turn up just like they did against Chelsea, go into a 3-goal lead, and we could.
Although, having said that, I don't really think they did turn up against Chelsea. I think it was very bad defensive errors. I remember Thiago Silva slipping and West Brom going through on goal. In the second half, they deserved to lose that game. Chelsea completely ripped them apart.
I would say they turned up in the sense that they were very aggressive, and they kind of, although Chelsea did make mistakes, they forced the mistakes out of Chelsea. So I think they played well, although they had 3 shots on target.
They'll be up
goals.
For this, won't they? They'll be up.
They have to be because they're scrapping for results at the moment. They're near the bottom, haven't won a game. They just lost to Fulham, who were rock bottom at the time and who were looking absolutely terrible. They drew to Brighton. They've had a series of really poor results. So they need to turn it around somehow, but we need to make sure that we take this game as serious as possible. We don't give them any encouragement, and if we turn up to this game and we're aggressive and we don't give them time on the ball and we don't give them encouragement on the ball, this is ours. This is our game.
When you look back at a couple of games, the Burnley and the Brighton, potentially the Brighton game, but especially the Burnley game, we seem to give a bit too much respect to the opposition and didn't play our game. I think we got to go into this game and really play our game, because I don't think we need to give any. I mean, it's a bit harsh me saying that, but I don't think we need to give West Brom respect. If we go out there, play our game, we should win this game comfortably.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's frustrated me over the last couple of games against Brighton and Burnley, that we have kind of adjusted a bit too much to compensate for the strengths of the opposition rather than concentrating on our own strengths. But at the end of the day, we have ended up the game with 2 wins out of 2. So I'm hoping that Mourinho has a plan for this game, but I think we just. Yeah, I agree with you. We have to concentrate on our own strengths, because if we do that, it should be enough to overwhelm West Brom. And we have the 2 form players in Europe at the moment, so all we have to do is make sure they're getting on the ball as much as possible. And it should be too much for West Brom to handle. I'm confident of that fact. But you just got to be wary that...
and you know what happens when we're overconfident, you know what I mean? It always seems to happen.
And whenever we have a game to go top of the league, we always screw it up, don't we? So we just got to be wary of that fact. But hopefully this will be a big factor in whether there really is a shift in mentality. If we come into this game confident and just confidently win the game, we should be okay.
I mean, if we come into this game and take it lightly and come away without a result,
There'll be big question marks.
I'm convinced that we are not ready for all the talk that we're talking about if we can't win this game.
Completely agree. This will be very telling.
Yeah, so I mean, everyone's talking about Spurs with a potential shot for the title, this and that. If we don't go and play our game and completely wipe the floor with these lot, then we don't deserve it.
Can't be any excuses. Nothing about tired or anything like that. You can't have any excuse in this game. It has to be 3 points against West Brom. No excuses whatsoever. And
it's the same old story as every other game, especially when we're playing a team lower in the table. We got to stamp our authority early in the game, get a goal or 2 before the half an hour, 40-minute mark, and then hopefully it will blow West Brom's game plan out the window and we can get a few more goals. Correct.
And if they start everything like they did against Chelsea, then we got to be maybe potentially wary of an early start and an early pressure from West Brom. But if we can ride that, if that does happen, then it should be okay once we get into the game. But hopefully they don't unsettle us early doors, which judging by the last few games, they haven't seemed to have done that to anyone. So I'm hoping that we can just stamp our authority on the game, and we're aggressive, we win back possession well, and we're able to create chances.
I mean, the main point of this game is you've got to go into it with the right attitude. If we go into it with the right attitude, we should win this game.
Correct.
We should win this game. If
Absolutely.
we don't, we could have a similar situation to Antwerp on our hands, and that's the case of the matter, really.
100%. And no doubt about it, this will be a harder game than the Antwerp game. So although West Brom are sitting fairly low down the table, they're still a Premier League side, and that has to be respected. And you've seen teams many a time, bottom of the league, beat a team at the top of the league. It's happened so many times, so you can never take anything too lightly. So we just got to come out, as you say, right attitude, and we should be okay.
All right, so there you have it. That is our match preview. Sim, still going for 3-0?
I go 3-0 Tottenham. I'm going for an early goal. We'll ride out some pressure, then hit them on a couple of counters, and we should win the game 3-0. And I do wonder what kind of effect, if we do go top and if we do stay top over the international break, I do wonder what kind of effect that will have on the team. I'm undecided whether that will put more pressure on them going into the City game or give them confidence going into that game. I'm not sure.
I mean, time will tell, obviously. If we do go top and if we do stay top, time will tell. But the way you got to look at it as well, after the international break, hopefully with no injuries and stuff on international break, but you're going to have a more fit Gareth Bale, you're going to have a more fit Giovanni Lo Celso, both of them being called up for international break. That could provide the difference for us.
It really could, and especially with players like Lo Celso and Bale, players of supreme quality. The more that they're fit, the more fitness they have, the more they can make the difference in these kind of games against Man City and against Chelsea and whoever we have coming up, because they're the ones who really have the quality in our squad. They can really make the difference if you put them on top of the quality of Son and Kane
and Ndombele
as well. Just it could be really vital.
Yeah,
really vital.
I completely agree with you. So Sim is going 3-0. I am going 3-1. Hopefully we see a debut for Joe Rodon as well, the Welsh Maldini. It's very likely that he can play as well. But anyway, join us tomorrow for our live watch long and our post-match fan show. All you Gold members, the link to the post-match fan show will be in your community section just before kickoff. And then we'll run through anyone else that's not a Gold member as well on the day. The link we'll be putting in the description and in the live chat. So come and join us for our watch long and our post-match fan show tomorrow. It's our last game before international break. A win is imperative to go top of the league. Let's do this, and as always, come on you Spurs.